Hey, how you doing? I'm Adam Post. This is the Morning Post. We're going to talk about Star Wars. Star Wars got woke. Star Wars went broke. They've just recently announced they are no longer going to be making Star Wars movies after the current one that's coming out December 2019. Why? What happened? Why is Star Wars canceled? We're going to get into all of it. We're going to cover it. I've got a number of articles from different perspectives, entertainment places, from business places, some history, some of the future. First things first, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's a big help to me. Click the bell for notifications. Thank you for doing that. First, Disney bought Lucasfilm, the company that made Star Wars, for $4 billion. They spent $4 billion on the Star Wars franchise, the ability to make Star Wars movies, TVs, toys, everything. George Lucas turned Lucasfilm into a freaking powerhouse. It made a fortune. Lucas got 40 million Disney shares from the deal. He was the second largest non-institutional shareholder of Disney. What that means is he's an individual stockholder rather than like a gigantic insurance company or a gigantic hedge fund or big investment company. The 68-year-old Lucas would serve as creative consultant, but planned to retire. Well, they didn't have him involved that much in the Star Wars movies, did they? Here was his quote. For the past 35 years, one of my greatest pleasures has been to see Star Wars pass from one generation to the next, said Lucas, chairman of CEO of Lucasfilm. In a statement, it's time for me now to pass Star Wars on to the new generation of filmmakers. What did you do? Could you believe this? So, Bob Iger said this is one of the great entertainment properties of all time. We can't wait to ruin it. No, he didn't say that. He said great entertainment properties of all time. One of the best branded and one of the most valuable, and it's just fantastic for us to have the opportunity to both buy it, run it, and grow it and run it into the ground. Nope, didn't say run into the ground, but that's what he meant to say. So this is, when they started their relationship, $4 billion, they acquired the company. Fine. Then in 2018, CNBC, which is a business website, very friendly to the Disney people, puts out this crazy article saying that Lucasfilm 6 years later recouped its entire $4 billion investment. So that would mean that they got the $4 billion back and everything on going forward was profit. So they would have spent $4 billion to buy it. You just saw that in the article here. And then 6 years later, bing, bang, boom, Disney is claiming through CNBC, through this shady article, that supposedly they got their money back. So supposedly, okay, the 4 Star Wars feature films that Disney had released since 2015 had grossed more than $4.8 billion at the box office. Maybe. They claim it. Let's say it's true. Disney also makes money from licensing agreements and sales of merchandise, apparel, and toys. Sure. Disney's purchase of Star Wars production company Lucasfilm has proven to be one of the smartest acquisitions ever in corporate. Oh, come on. Ever in corporate America? Marvel was. Yes. I thought Marvel was a steal for $4 billion. Star Wars, it would have been okay. It would have been a good deal if they didn't freaking ruin the damn thing. So here they're claiming, okay, well, it's a brilliant acquisition, smartest acquisition in history. Paul Degaragrabrian says, media analyst for ComScore. Do you think Star Wars was a good buy for $4 billion from Disney? Put it in the comments below. I don't think it was a great buy. Not with what they did with it, especially. Do you think it would have been a good deal if they didn't ruin it? Go ahead and put it in the comments. I want to see what you have to say. While box office grosses are a solid measure of a film's success, they still don't tell the whole story. There are hundreds of millions of dollars that cost the company to play, along with dozens of other Star Wars revenue streams. Yes. Well, there are other revenue streams, but when you ruin the franchise and you leave out the fact that, there's box office receipts, all that, it's not all direct to consumer. There are theaters involved that get a percentage of it, and then they may have to spend, $100 or $200 million marketing a single movie, sometimes more. Or like on the new Star Wars movie, they had to spend an additional $300 making $300 million. 300 is not so bad. 300 million is a lot on top of their normal production and marketing costs just to make multiple reshoots. Unbelievable. So now Star Wars, the great financial deal, this is coming from Cinema Blend. Star Wars is going on a hiatus following the rise of Skywalker Skywalker, according to Bob Iger. Who's Bob Iger? CEO of Disney. I think he knows a thing or two about it. So during a call with shareholders, the Walt Disney Company's full fiscal year and Q4 2019 earnings, so that's fourth quarter earnings, the last quarter is the last 3 months of 2019. Bob Iger addressed Star Wars cinematic future, saying, quote, in the Star Wars case, Star Wars 9, which comes out this December, will be the last of the Skywalker Saga, and we'll go into hiatus for a few years before the next Star Wars feature. Now, that was actually announced as well in April of 2019. Not a lot of people were talking about it, but it was in Bloomberg, and I caught it. And you'll see another reference to it here, I think, later in the article. So the rise of Skywalker brings hopefully a satisfying ending to the Star Wars. Yeah, you know what? The satisfying ending to the Skywalker part of the Star Wars franchise would just be that they would stop screwing with it, because they destroyed it as much as they can. We won't be seeing any Star Wars movies for quite a while. We all know that. But they still plan on utilizing the brand. What they're doing is shifting the brand to focus more on television. They're Disney Plus streaming. They want Star Wars to really focus on that. So Bob Iger was sure to reassure investors that just because Star Wars will be absent from the multiplex, the brand will still be ever present. The CEO cited 3 Star Wars shows in development for the Disney Plus streaming services. Oh, I said that. The Mandalorian, which is coming out soon, the Cassian Andor series, and the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that will carry the torch for the franchise during its cinematic hiatus. So they're going to move it to TV, and it will be a big property for TV because it was successful in film in the past. Hopefully the TV will be well done, and they will not have so much social justice warrior garbage in it. I mean, God knows what they're going to do with it. Disney doesn't think of Star Wars, or Marvel for that matter, as just a feature film franchise, obviously. It's a brand, and one that plays a role in multiple aspects of the company's business, from the TV side to theme parks. But as far as the theatrical releases are concerned, Star Wars won't be having any theatrical releases for a while. Well, we know that. This affirms what we've long suspected with regards to the Star Wars franchise, that it would be taking a break following J.J. Abrams' Rise of Skywalker. There is no Star Wars movie on the calendar for the next couple of years, and it takes to make it official. Bob Iger confirmed that. What Bob Iger didn't make clear in the earnings call was when Star Wars would return to the big screen and with what movie. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm telling you right now what's happening. They already announced that Kevin Feige will be making a Star Wars movie. They're developing it to be managed under Kevin Feige, because Kevin Feige, even though he put out that horrific, ridiculous Captain Marvel film, and he has other stupid Marvel films coming up that are not going to be as cool as prior ones, he doesn't ruin the franchise. Captain Marvel was a nothing. Captain Marvel is a nothing. So he'll do something with Star Wars under his control that will make it'll make all the executives and the investors happy. Let's put it that way. As an investor, I'd be happy with it because there's nothing else they can do. Kathleen Kennedy is ridiculous. She's incompetent. By dismantling the film operations, they have a way that they can get rid of her and all the other yokels that they had in that department and just have one good producer, probably pick them up out of a Marvel producer, under Kevin Feige, making new Star Wars stuff. They'll develop a couple of movies, whichever has the most momentum, they'll focus on that one. That's the future, baby, I'm telling you. The decision to slow down the Star Wars films is seemingly the result of a hard-learned lesson for the company. Bob Iger, this is what they're trying to say, that they put out too many Star Wars movies. It wasn't too many. They were just crappy. They were social justice warrior stuff, and the rest was just badly managed. Solo Star Wars story with all its constant reshoots. Ridiculous. So the last Star Wars movie for a while comes out in theaters on December 20th with Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Check out our 2019 release schedule to see what else you could look for this year. So, by the way, CinemaBlend is a very cool site. They have some good insights. A great site. You want to check it out. These guys have a cool perspective too. So this is Cosmic Book News announcing Star Wars movie on hiatus for years, confirms Disney CEO Bob Iger. We just went over most of that. These guys also helpfully remind us that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge parks have had low attendance and high costs. They're doing horrendously. And during their recent investors conference call, Bob Iger says they aren't developing any new Star Wars movies and instead focusing on Disney Plus Star Wars. So they're obviously transitioning the brand to TV. And like they're doing with the Marvel properties, they're doing a lot of TV with the Marvel properties that they're then going to utilize to leverage stories into the movies. So as we announced on another video a day or two ago, how Disney is going to force you to subscribe to Disney Plus if you want to know what's going on in the whole Marvel universe and to really thoroughly enjoy all the movies. They'll do that same thing with Star Wars, but they'll move the television development as like the driving force for whatever they're going to do with the Star Wars line, and then they'll spin some movie that's supported by the TV shows. They're very good with leveraging their properties. But making these characters, I mean, Rose Tico is wonderful, but making these characters the face of Star Wars, nobody wants to see that. See, as I was saying, Kevin Feige will be developing a new Star Wars movie, so it remains to be seen after 4 or so years where things will pick up. But Feige's Star Wars obviously is years away as well. But if he gets the right production people on it, they could have something out in 3 years. That would be like a Marvel-ish Star Wars movie, but with female characters. I don't know what they're going to do. So The Mandalorian comes out on November 12th through Disney Plus. A lot of people are looking forward to that as some new Star Wars content. I hope it works for them. I hope it's good. The Obi-Wan Kenobi series starring Ewan McGregor might actually be cool. And the Rogue One spinoff could also be cool. That was a pretty good series. This is another article. This was a little bit older, but I thought it was really interesting too. Star Wars is taking a break after Episode 9. Even Mark Hamill has franchise fatigue. Again, just this whole thing that there's franchise fatigue. It's not the franchise fatigue. It's the fatigue of them screwing with the franchise. It's turning something interesting and cool into garbage. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to see crappy versions of it. Would people see a new Star Wars movie every month if it was well done? Yes, they would. Why wouldn't they? What's the limit? This is interesting, and this is again the TV angle of it. Disney focus. This is from Business Insider. Disney's focus on Star Wars for its Netflix competitor, Disney Plus, shows it's not worried about fan fatigue, but experts say the franchise needs to reinvent itself to thrive. But that's another thing. By switching from film production to TV production, TV is much more intense in terms of story development now. All the good dramas are being done in TV, really not in movies. And with a group of writers, they could turn this into something good. I mean, that's what we'd hope. So Star Wars is going to be focused on television for the time to come, and you're going to need to have Disney Plus, or you're not going to see any of them. That's how they're getting you. All right, go ahead and make sure to subscribe to my channel. I have a lot more interesting things to tell you. I do not want you to miss out. Subscribe, click the bell for notifications. I will see you again soon. I care what you think. I do. Put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'll be talking to you again soon. I'll be talking to you tomorrow. Take care.